Today might be hard for you, tomorrow might be even harder, but this is your year. The Lord is leading you down a new road. Evangelist, gospel music artist, songwriter, multi-award Dove nominee, Johnathan Bond has been serving God in full-time ministry since 1995. Prior to that time, Johnathan, while driving on rain-slick roads, an 18-wheeler pulled into his lane and forced him into traffic, where his car was hit so hard by two different vehicles that his seatbelt was ripped in half. The next thing he remembered was lying on a wet road and people were standing over him trying to find a pulse. After a few minutes of CPR, the paramedic said, "We can't do anything for him, he's dead." In his heart, Johnathan pleaded, "Lord, if you will save me and let me live, I will live for you." This is his story. This is today's Nashville. This is faith. Johnathan, it is a pleasure to sit down with you this morning. I was so excited. We have a mutual friend who introduced us.
Yes, so excited to be here. Thank you very much.
And our friend is Barbara.
Barbara Fairchild. None other than.
I know. She called me up. She said, "You have to have Johnathan." And I was so honored when we talked that you would be on this show. So welcome.
Oh, thank you. So excited to be here. Thank you for what you do, making a difference in the lives of others.
Oh, well, you know what? God is really working in your life too.
Yes.
And but I want to share with our audience of what God has done in your life and where it all started. So tell me about how you got into music and.
Okay. I was raised in church my whole life.
Now, where were you born?
And I was born in the Phoenix, Arizona area.
Okay.
And then my parents, when I was about 8 years old, moved to Dalton, Georgia. And raised in church my whole life, I've always believed in God, always believed in Jesus, but things were good. I didn't really need them, you know. I was good on my own until September the 24th of 1991. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I was on my way to work. It was raining really hard. An 18-wheeler pulls over in my lane. He hits my car, knocks me across the median into oncoming traffic. Two other cars hit me, and at 1:45 that Tuesday, they pronounced me dead at the scene. I'm lying there, it's raining. I could hear people around me. I couldn't see anything.
They
I don't
couldn't
remember.
find a pulse or anything?
They didn't. I could hear everything going on, but I heard a lady say, "He's too young to die." And then I heard a guy say, "He is dead." And
were they doing CPR or anything?
They had done all their procedures, and I don't know what all that was. But when I heard him say he is dead, I heard a whole different. I heard nothing else there, but I heard a whole different voice, and he said, "Ask and you shall receive. Ask and you shall receive," 3 times. And I was lying there, and I knew that voice. First time I'd heard that voice, but I knew who it belonged to. And I said, "God, if you will save me and let me live, I'll live for you." Nothing came out here, but you know, the heart connected. And through all of that, my back was broken in 9 places. I had a brain aneurysm. My skull had cracked and my head was swollen. This eye had loosened. I had 2 ribs broken, my arm, my shoulder. Physically, I was destroyed.
How old were you at that time?
I was 23.
23.
Through all of that, to make a long story short, God healed me of every bit of that. The doctor said no way would I live, and then no way would I be able to have a viable life. You know, then they said there's no way I would ever feed myself, and I'm good at that. You know, so like through all of that, God proved himself, and it was that day that I realized he not only loves people, he loved me. You know, it changed my whole world.
What was your life like in, you know, I'm sure you were in the hospital for a long time in rehab, and what was that like?
Well, I left the hospital against medical advice.
Now, how long were you in there?
4 days.
Only 4 days? With everything going on?
The day that, there's a lady from my mother's church, she's really touchy-feely. And when she put her hand on you, it was there like for months. You know, it's just dead weight there. She came into the room to see me, and I'm lying there, and she went to put her hand on my leg. And I didn't want that, and I moved my leg, and my mother said, "What did you just do?" And I was thinking, oh no. In my mind, I didn't want her to know I moved my leg because of her. My mother said, "Did you just move your leg?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I did." And I moved it again, and I moved the other leg. And my mother ran to get the doctor. And I got up out of the bed, had all these wires hooked to me, and I started pulling some of them out. Oh, not good. It hurt. But I got up, and the doctor said, "You're not leaving." I said, "I'm leaving." I was hard-headed long before I met Jesus, and I'm still hard-headed today. But he healed me, and I was under doctor's care for 2 years, 2 full years.
Yeah, broken back. And there was part of your story that you talked about your mom, and she kind of knew, didn't she, that you had been in the accident?
Well, my mother and my brother were driving, and she heard on the radio, the announcer said, "Fatal car accident on Highway 2. Now, she said as soon as he said that, God spoke to her and said, "Ask and you shall receive." She looked at my brother. She said, "Lamar, that's Johnathan." He said, "Mother, that's not the direction he would have been going." But normally I would go the back road, but this time I took the main road. She said, "That's Johnathan." She went straight to the emergency room, made her way there, got there. I was in a holding room. They were cleaning me up for identification is what they were doing. And my mother went in. She said, "I'm Johnathan Bond's mother. He had the wreck over here on Battlefield Parkway."
And she didn't know that was real.
She had no idea except for God spoke to her. There had been no proof, but she knew. That mother's intuition is a gift from God, you know. And so the doctors came out, and he said, "Ma'am, we did everything we could." And she said, "No, you didn't. Would you pray with me?" And the doctor prayed with my mother just to be courteous.
And he had already told her that you had died.
Right. And he was praying with my mother, and while they were praying, the lady who was cleaning me up ran for help. I began to, I'm trying to think of the proper word, but basically vomit blood. And she ran for help. And she's like, "Help me, somebody." You know, the doctor got up and ran to help. My mother stayed on her knees. And later I said to my mother, I said, "Why did you stay down praying instead of getting up?" You know, because I would have thought. She said, "Never ever should you ask someone for something, for some kind of help, that they give it to you and you don't take time to thank them." So she stayed on her knees to say thank you to God.
So, and what happened after that?
I was in a coma. They put me in ICU, and then the rest is history, as they say.
And you were out in 4 days.
32 years ago.
32 years
Yes,
ago. So at this point, were you in music?
No, ma'am. My plans were to be a CPA. I've got a bachelor's degree in accounting, and I had plans. But thank the Lord, his plans are better.
Well, you know what? He has taken you down another journey, and we're going to talk about that when we come back.